Good morning Year 3, welcome to your maths video for Monday the 1st of February. So this is a video for you if you've got the Year 3 maths booklet. So today we're going to be moving on to completing page 16 in our booklets, where it's got exercise 16 at the top. But before we get rushing on, I've got a little warm-up task for you to do, and we're going to have a look at our learning question for today because we've got some new learning on this page. So my warm-up challenge this morning is to find out what are the values of my strawberry, my watermelon and my apple. Now the value means what it's worth. So we've got to imagine that there are numbers hidden behind the strawberry, the watermelon and the apple, and you need to work out what they are each worth. Now to do that, I have got here 3 number sentences that should help you work out the value of each piece of fruit. So I'd like you to complete this as a challenge in your purple books. Now I've been really impressed with the extra challenges that I've set Year 3 in your purple books for maths. I know Seren and Blake, your coin combinations were fantastic, so keep up the good work. So I can't wait to see if you can solve my fruit problem. So if you pause the video in a minute, I've got here a strawberry add a strawberry equals 24. So we know that these two numbers here have to be worth the same amount. Okay, so looking at the answer 24, what could one of the strawberries be worth? Okay, I've then got a strawberry add a watermelon equals 26. So hopefully that first number sentence, you should have worked out what one strawberry is worth. So you now should know the value of this strawberry. I'm adding it to a watermelon, and now I've got the answer 26. And then finally, if you manage to work out then the value of my watermelon, I've got a strawberry add a watermelon add an apple equals 56. So you should by this point know how much a strawberry is worth, how much the watermelon is worth, so you can work out what's left over to find out what the apple is worth. So you might want to pause the video now, and in your purple books you can draw these out and then draw a strawberry and put an equals next to it and write a number, so what you think it's worth. Then draw a watermelon, put an equals next to that and tell me what that one's worth. And the same for an apple. Draw an apple, write an equals sign, what's the apple worth? So I'll pause the video now because these number sentences, if you copy them into your purple book, will help you to solve my problem in finding the value of each piece of fruit. Okay, so hopefully by now you should have completed that warm-up challenge in your purple book. So we're going to move on to our new learning for today. In today's work, we are going to be focusing on solving two-step questions and problems, okay? So, particularly in your startup challenge and in your into gear section, we've got different questions, additions, subtractions, multiplications and divisions, where there's 2 steps. We need to break up the calculation into 2 steps to help us solve it. So let's have a little look at some of the work that you've got today. We've got these three one-digit multiplications again. 5 times 3 times 2. So we know with them, we were brilliant at those the other day. We do the first part, so I'm going to ignore the multiplied by 2. I'm going to break it into 2 parts. 5 times 3, so I'm going to count in my 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So I worked out the first part, that's the first step. But now I need to multiply my answer by 2. That's my second step. I know lots of you will know what 15 times 2 is, or double 15. It's 30. Okay. Moving on then, we've got 34, add 97, subtract 3. Okay, so I'm just going to ignore for now the subtract 3. And I'm going to work out 34 add 97. So I'm going to use column method for this. Remember, you can use your column method all around your page or show you working out in your purple book or even on your whiteboard. You don't need to just keep working them out in your head. I've got 34 add 97. Okay, let's get my ruler out. So my column method is very neat. I'm going to start with the ones. 4 ones add 7 ones. Oh, that's 11 ones. Oh, I can't fit 11 in, can I? It doesn't like to share a box. So I'm going to leave my ones and I'm going to exchange that 10 from 11 and put it under the tens column. So I need to remember to count that in. 3 tens add 9 tens. Well, 9 add 3 is 12. So that's 12 tens. Add 1 more, that's 13. Oh, I can't fit those 2 digits in, so I'm going to carry that 100 over and exchange it. I've got no hundreds to add, so my answer to 34 add 97 is 131. So I've worked out the first step, and I'm going to write that down so I don't lose the answer. Because then my second step, all I need to do now is subtract 3 from my answer. Now, I don't think I need to use column method for this one. I can cover over my hundreds because I know they're not going to change. And I'm just going to put 31 in my head and count back 3. Can you count with me? 31, 30, 29, 28. And I'm going to pop those hundreds back on. So my answer is 128. Okay. Let's have a look at another 2-step problem that you've got in your books today. You've got a very similar one to this. I've got 21 add 84 subtract something equals 92. Now, that seems a lot at the beginning, but remember, we're going to break it into steps. So I'm going to cover over the last part and I'm going to just work out, to begin with, 21 add 84, okay? So I know lots of you will be wanting to put that in column method, so let's quickly have a go. Remember, you don't need to struggle adding it in your head. And we've got big numbers, we can use column method. Okay, so starting with the ones, 4 ones add 1 is 5. And 8 tens add 2 tens, that's 10 tens, which we know is 100. So I'm going to put my placeholder in 0, carry my 100 over to the hundreds column. I've got no hundreds to add, so my answer is 105. Okay. So I know this part of the calculation equals 105. So really it's like saying 105 take away something equals 92. So I'm just going to work out the difference between these 2 numbers, okay? Now you might want to put them in a subtraction, but I think they're quite close to each other, 105 and 92. So I'm just going to count back from 105 until I get to 92, and that will give me my answer there so I can work out the difference. Can you count with me? So 105 in my head, and definitely I'm going to need all my fingers for this one. 105, 104, 103, 102, 101, 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92. That was 10 and 3, which we know is 13. So they've subtracted 13 to get to 92, okay? And you can always double check that answer to make sure it now makes sense as a number sentence. So work out the first part, and then from your answer, complete the second step. Now in your intergear section and your tough challenge section, you've also got some 2-step word problems that look a little bit like this. So Sophie starts with £33, then spends £25 and £6. So she had a bit of a shopping day. How much money does she have left? So I'm going to underline the key numbers and words. So she starts with 33. She's got £33 in her hand, but she's spent £25 of that. So she might have bought herself a new jumper. And then £6. So she might have got herself some dinner after that. How much money does she have left? There's the key word, left. So what operation do you think I'm going to need to do twice, year 3? Or if you said subtraction, well done. So she starts with 33, she spent 25. So I'm going to do 33, take away £25, okay? Now when you've worked out the answer to that, so if we quickly do it, I can just count the difference between these numbers because they're very close together. So 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. That's £8 difference. So she'd be left with £8, wouldn't she? She's then spent £6 after that. So I need to subtract, to do the second step, I need to subtract another £6, okay? So I've subtracted my 25, now I need to subtract £6 from my answer. Now, I know that lots of you will know the answer straight away. £8 take away £6, how much is Sophie going to be left with? £2. Okay. Right, so the last question that involves our learning question today is asking you to find the total value of these amounts. And you've got three numbers there, 26, 13 and 7. Now I've got a keyword that tells me what operation we're going to be doing today on that question. What do you think? If you said total, well done. When we find the total of numbers, that means we're adding them, we're putting them all together, okay? So you've got to add 26, 13 and 7, okay? Now some of you might do this in two steps. You might want to add 26 and 13 together, and then to your answer you could add 7, or some of you might just add all three numbers in one go. So you can break that calculation down if you're finding it tricky to add all three numbers at once. Okay, so let's move on then to our intergear challenges and tough challenge for today. So in your intergear section, you've got some extra challenge questions that look a bit like this, where we're going to be filling in the missing signs. So we've got our greater than sign and our less than sign. And remember, what animal do we think of? Oh, it's a crocodile. So remember, crocodiles like to eat the biggest thing. So your greater than sign should be facing and open to the biggest number. So I've got three numbers here. I've got two boxes, so we're going to need to use two signs and compare two lots of numbers. So here's my first lot of numbers to compare, 345 and 342. If I start with the highest value in the numbers, I've got 300 and 300. They're worth the same amount. So I'm going to move on to the tens column. Oh, I've got 4 tens and 4 tens. So finally, comparing the ones, 5 ones and 2 ones. I know 5 ones is bigger, so my crocodile is going to be eating 345. My greater than sign will be facing that and open to 345 because it's the biggest number. I'm then going to have a look at these two numbers, 342 and 331. Now I know lots of you straight away will have spotted which one is the bigger or smaller number. I've got 300 and 300. Now move to the tens, 40 and 30. I know 4 tens is bigger than 3 tens, so my crocodile is going to be eating 342. My greater than sign will be facing and open to that number. Right, finally, you've got a similar question to this one in your intergear section today. We've got find a half of 180. Now, when we find a half, we're splitting it into 2 equal groups. Now, that number's quite big. So what we can do, we can partition that number into its hundreds and its tens. So we know 180 is made up of 100 and 80. Okay? Now, I know what half of 100 is, so I can work that out first. Half of 100 is 50. Okay? What's half of 80? Oh, if you said 40, well done. And then with those two numbers, I can just add them together. So if you've got a really big number that you need to half, remember you can just partition it and then add what you have found out, which I've got 50, add 40, we know is 90. So half of 180 is 90. And I know that also makes sense because if I cover over my 0, half of 18 I know is 9, but 180 is 10 times bigger than 18. So I'd need to add my placeholder 0 on the end and make 9 10 times bigger, which is 90, which is the answer we just got. Right, moving on to our last questions then for today. In your tough challenge, it's asking you to add the lightest mass and the heaviest mass together, okay? So the lightest mass, a mass is how much something weighs. So if it's the lightest, it's going to be the smallest number. And if it's the heaviest, then the opposite of lightest, it will be the biggest number. So you need to first find the lightest, so compare your numbers. Oh, so I've seen 45, that's the lightest. So least amount of kilograms I've got in there. And the heaviest, 79. And then your question has asked you to add them. So you can do column method, or if you can work it out in your head, that is fine. Now, finally, you've got some time questions. So remember, we can use our useful information page, and you've also got a question similar to this. Name the 7th month of the year. So, remember in your heads or out loud, we can chant the months of the year, and we need to find out the number. So what number they come in the year. So if I was chanting the months of the year, I'm going to count up to the 7th one. So I need my fingers for this. Are you ready to chant the months of the year with me? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Oh, I've got 7 there. July was the 7th month, okay? So don't forget to chant those months. And for your time questions, if you're struggling, look at the front of your book again. Now, if you do want an extra challenge on top of your warm-up challenge or fruit challenge, remember you can do a time yourself test in the back of your book. So good luck, Year 3, and I can't wait to see your work from today and if you can solve my fruit problem at the beginning of my lesson. See you later.